Hello everybody, here I am. We're going to take a look at reducing fractions using a kind of hit or miss method. I really like using the prime factorization method, but you can also get there just by dividing the numbers by common factors that you can guess as you go. So let's take a look at this first one. Write 60 over 70 in lowest terms. Okay, so here I have it written out. And if you know the rules of multiplication and division by 10, in a fraction, you can just cross out the zeros on the right. If you've got a 0 and a 0, it's kind of like the Go Fish game. The top 0 says, do you have any zeros? They ask the denominator and they say yes. And so they get to take that out and you're left with 6/7. And that is the lowest form, the lowest term for that fraction. But let's say you didn't know that rule. You were behind in your rules for 10. You can see that 60 and 70 are both even, right? So let's divide those because we know any even number can be divided by 2. Let's divide the top and the bottom by the same number and we'll end up with 30 over 35. Now, do you remember your divisibility rules for 5? If you do, you're in luck because 5 will go into numbers that end in 5 and 0. It'll go in evenly. So we can, 30 divided by 5 is 6. 35 divided by 5 is 7. So if we go as far as we can, we will end up at the same destination, which is 6/7 or 6 over 7. And what we can do is take the factors that we used to get there, which was 5 and a 2. And if we multiply those together, we get 10, which is what we did when we crossed out the zeros here, okay? So this is just a handy shortcut. Whenever you have the same number or the same number and unit, same units in the top and the bottom of a fraction, you can simplify them to 1, right? So what we said here was 6 times 10 over 7 times 10, right? So this is one way to redefine it. This is the same as 60 over 70. And then we crossed out, like, do you have any 10s? Yes. So then that left 6 over 7. So you can do it in one step, or you can stretch it out, mathematically and do it that way. All right, let's look at the next fraction, 9 over 18. So these are not both even, so what do? You could use a prime factorization, or if you've been doing your low multiplication math facts, you'll see that 9 and 18 can both be divided by 3. So we'll start there. And we're going to get 9 divided by 3 is 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And then we'll see again that 3 and 6 are also divisible by 3. So let's go one more step. 3 divided by 3 and 6 divided by 3 will get 1 over 2. So what this means is we divided by 3 once and divided by 3 twice. So 3 times 3 is 9. If we had started by factoring out 9s here, we would have gotten to 1/2 in one step. But you can see that if you just repeat the steps, this is an algorithm that you can keep going through. You will eventually just work until you can't reduce anymore. Work until these two numbers have no factors in common and you'll be done. And these rules will become more important when we simplify rational expressions that have algebraic terms in them. We'll know when we don't have any more common factors, we're done. Anyway, give this a try. We're still working with concrete numbers, so it should be fairly accessible. And message me if you get stuck.